Thank you so much. And thank you, Consuelo, for the perfect introduction and overview to Morse Micro. So I work for Morse Micro. We're an Australian-based fabulous semiconductor company. The easiest way of talking about Australia, kangaroos. There's two messages with this slide. Firstly, we live in Australia. We're about 200 people around the world, 150 of whom are in Australia. The thing I'm most interested, beyond the kangaroos, for you to have a little look at, is that this image was taken during one of our test pilots in South Australia. And as you can see in the data sets at the bottom, the distance from the AP was 1.2 kilometers, and we were getting a phi rate of 19.5 megabits per second. And the kangaroos are in Australia. So this, I think, is a really interesting example. Now, admittedly, in rural Australia, the radio noise is lower, so I'm going to talk exactly as Consuelo did about the capability that we can deliver up to 1 kilometer. Yeah, sure, we can go further, but in this room, with this community of people, LoRaWan absolutely wins on distance, no issue whatsoever. But I'm going to talk about what we can do to help you to find new ways of monetizing your existing solutions or extending your solution set with IoT 2.0. Firstly, you don't need me to tell you what is IoT. It's been the core of what we've all been doing for 15 or 18 years. But the reason I put this up is because the IEEE team, the names of which are at the bottom here, wrote a paper on the evolution from IoT 1 to IoT 2. This is the only reason why it's been good to be in Australia, because this team of people work out of UTS, University Technology Sydney. So that's really helpful for us. Everything else about Australia is a long way to all of you. However, what this team did was they looked at the evolution that you're all part of, that has absolutely been a core part of most presentations during yesterday and today, and it said, right, IoT 2, what's it about? And there's some key words that I think are really important. Enhanced intelligence, integration, analytics, decision-making, more advanced applications, real-time local data processing. You start to get into edge computing, enhanced security protocols, really, really important, and standardization and interoperability. So when I see those words, I start to feel really good about the accreditation that we have from Wi-Fi Alliance, because when I think about the security, I know that we're absolutely aligned with the very latest WPA3 accreditation. That's great. I know that we're a standard, so interoperability becomes really, really easy for us. And I'll talk more about what we can do to create new solutions that are all about real-time sense and respond to help your businesses grow. So the title of this presentation was IoT 2.0. I'll be honest with you, I don't particularly like that title. It isn't really being spoken about in the marketplace. It matched with how the IEEE pitched the future of the world that we're operating in. But you know, Gartner have their life cycle, and they have many, many different point solutions. Sometimes it gets referred to as the industrial IoT. I've heard that terrible phrase of the artificial intelligence of things. There's all kinds of funky marketing souls trying to put great labels over the next generation of IoT solutions. I've got to be honest with you, I'm really not that bothered what the title is, but I'm really very, very interested in exploring with all of you what you can do and how we can help you to realize the extra data bandwidth that Wi-Fi HaLow can deliver. Now, normally when we see rate and range charts for our industry, they go on logarithmic scale, and that's super important. And you want to do a comparison of technologies, I get it. But sometimes I think it's really, really helpful to just look at the core numbers. So this is the zone that I believe we can best help any of you to stimulate extra data to enhance your existing solutions. The line at the bottom, the thin blue line, goes for miles and miles and miles. That's LoRaWan. You know that. You've got distance. That's phenomenal. But it's not large packets of data. The orange line up the left-hand side, that goes way, 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 way there. You know that 2.4 and 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz, super, super fast. We're not competing for that. But there's a zone which could be cellular, but that is the gift that keeps giving each and every month and can get pretty expensive. Or it can now be Wi-Fi HaLow. So this is the zone that I encourage you to think about and explore what is it that we could do with this volume of data as we think about enhanced solutions from those that we're working on today. What extra data sets could I get? Where could I get them from? What kind of real-time sense and response solutions could I offer? Now, it might be, just throw some ideas around, it might just be backhaul for your existing solutions, an alternative option. Super cool, super, super cool, helpful. It might be that you're just thinking about over-the-air. You want fast over-the-air software updates for existing solutions. These kind of data rates, no issue whatsoever, up to 1 kilometre or so, unless you're living near the kangaroos where we can go further. It might be that you're looking ahead at the red cybersecurity challenges, and you're thinking, how am I going to make sure I'm absolutely compliant with these existing solutions that can't ship the volumes of data that are required? Maybe this is something that we can work on together. Or, and even more interestingly, it might be that there's another level of business solution that you can deliver to your clients because you have more data. I was chatting to a gentleman yesterday who came by our booth. We're on booth B19. And the gentleman, he was describing his really strong sensing solution that was in place, LoRaWan based, highly effective, doing really well in the marketplace, great. And I said, what is it that your clients are looking for that you can't yet deliver? And he said, well, when we found a problem, that client would love a video of what's going on, or a photo of what's going on. But we can't easily do that. We can't easily ship it. Well, you know what? You think a little bit differently about your solution, and yeah, you can. And you could put that into market and call it a premium solution. You could charge more money than you're doing today, and you can take your current clients forward on a different, more enhanced path. So in that zone, up to 1 kilometre or so, with this extra level of data, there's quite a lot of opportunities for you to think about backhaul, over-the-air software updates, red cybersecurity, or just plain better business solutions if you consider extra data volumes. So, as I've just started to touch on, it's not really about the technology, it's a matter of what you can do with it. So a couple of examples. Let me go to this one first. So, smart metering, we all know smart metering, and in many respects, it's a solved problem. And I'm not going to talk to you about water or gas, because the change isn't in water or gas so much. But think about what's going on with the electricity world. Large volume of solar panels, growing volumes of electronic vehicles, more and more battery storage. So the highly centralized grid as was is becoming a highly decentralized virtual power plant. And that meter that sits in the middle is no longer trying to capture usage data and send it periodically, be it every 15 minutes, be it every 5 minutes, or every 1 minute, as the Australian government are currently demanding in their latest RFP. But those volumes of data really challenge the current technology. Whereas put Wi-Fi HaLow in those smart meters, and we're piloting that with the 2 largest smart meter companies in the world, then all of a sudden you can get into the grid edge intelligence that industry talks about. They talk about AMI 2.0. So it's not IoT 2.0 for them, it's advanced metering infrastructure 2.0. And it's because the data volumes in both directions are just going to grow and grow and grow over the coming decade, 15 years. So there's another level of business solution that's coming forward. That's an opportunity for Wi-Fi HaLow. Similarly, agriculture. Again, everyone in this room, I think most presentations have made reference to agriculture, but there are certain solution areas and certain solution integrators who are looking at, call them traditional, the smart agriculture solutions of the last 10 years or so, and the clients are demanding more. They're demanding higher volumes of data at a more granular level than ever before. So it's not about parts of it's not about a vineyard or fields in a vineyard, it's about individual vines. They're always on hills, the moisture level's different. If you really start to focus on crop yield optimization, then you need to be able to pull together multiple data feeds, and you need to do the processing as close to that area as possible. And the language of precision agriculture is the language that Australia and California is using as it moves to the next generation of smart agriculture solution. So I know you guys are in a whole range of different industries, but I wanted to give a couple of examples alongside of the general on how we see certain industries moving forward and how we see Wi-Fi HaLow able to be part of the solution to enhance your solution set and ultimately enhance your bottom line. So, this is a really exciting week in many ways for our business. Our Series C funding round was completed and announced earlier on this week, so we're very well funded. Should take us through to IPO. Super exciting for us. Our second generation chip was put into mass production. Our first generation chip, the 6108, only worked, was only compliant in the US and Australia, which is why Europe hasn't heard a lot about Wi-Fi HaLow. The 8108, our second generation chip, it's a global SKU. Yeah, so you can all pick up this chip in a variety of forms, and I'm going to talk about those in a moment, and you can now start to think about ways in which you can bring Wi-Fi HaLow to life here in Europe. And what are the ways that you can step forward? We've got some evaluation kits. On our booth, B19, we have examples of each of these. Talk to the team, explore it. We've got a high-powered router, we've got an IoT development kit, and we've got a beautiful little combination of a USB dongle and a router that will enable you to start to test new solutions in a pretty low-cost way. These tools are all available for pre-order now on Mouser. With the chip just having gone into mass production, they'll start to ship in a couple of weeks' time. So these are available for you, in essence, straight away. This HaLow Link 2 is coming soon. So announcing its availability, it won't be available on Mouser until probably just before Christmas. So if any of you do put Christmas lists together, pop there. Well, whether your children actually go to Mouser to buy your Christmas presents or not, I don't know, but this is an option for you. And this is the second generation of our HaLow Link chips. This will be on Mouser for $129 US. It's got a 2.4 gigahertz chip in it. It's got a Wi-Fi HaLow chip in it. So all of the devices that you currently connect at 2.4 can be there. A whole range of other devices that you want to test at distance can be here, and you can see what Wi-Fi HaLow can do in your environment as you start to proof of concept the next generation solution. Be that backhaul, be that simple over-the-air updates, be that something on Red cybersecurity, or be that about a whole pile of different edge AI-based business solutions. So I mentioned edge. It's an area that we fundamentally believe in, but doesn't everyone, of course. We're an enabler. We're a contributor to edge computing and AI at the edge. That isn't who we are, but we enable IP to the edge, and our edge, local area network terms, is much further out than many, many others. So we can do high volumes of data and IP in a secure way to the edge. So we see ourselves as an enabler of edge computing. Delightfully, just last week, we won this award. That was wonderful to see, that validation of our position, and something that we've been working on in the US and Australia, and something that we're really keen to work on with all of you here in Europe. We have a growing ecosystem. My hope is that I'm back with you in a year or so's time, and that we have many more logos on this slide. I would love a number of your logos to be on this slide. We don't yet have the ecosystem we fully want. We absolutely want to build it out, but there is range and diversity in here. So this tells you that we're on the map. It tells you there's a lot of Wi-Fi HaLow product coming, and I'd love to work with you to build this out in ways that you find relevant for your market opportunities. As Consuelo mentioned earlier on, Vinca, what a legend. First connected with him at Mobile World Congress and Embedded World earlier this year, and we're exploring what we can do in terms of Wi-Fi HaLow as a backhaul to the Things network. That's super cool. Why not? It's just an extension of where we are and contributing to the growth of their business and the added data volumes that they have in place. So that was announced last week. And then new announcement for today, super excited. Browan, down there in the far right-hand side of the hall. I see Charlie and Henry, I think, in the room. Outstanding. Another technical partnership. So I haven't put your logo on the prior slide because we just announced it today, but it's outstanding that we have the announcement in place. And Browan are another of the partners who see a place in their portfolio for Wi-Fi HaLow and are kicking forward in a partnership with ourselves. So I'm trying to give you a flavor of the kinds of things that we can do if we together imagine the possibilities of how Wi-Fi HaLow can take you a step forward from your current successful businesses and open up a new era of enhanced business solutions over the next 10 to 15 years. That was pretty well on time. I hope that was valuable for you all. Thank you very much indeed.
Perfect, Andy.
Cool.